What is going on, killers, and welcome back to the channel. What I've got for you today is some major S197 upgrades. It's pretty significant. So let me flip the what I got here. All right, and by the way, I am filming today on my new phone. It is the Samsung S22 Ultra. It's got like 5 cameras on it, so I wanted to check it out. But anyway, basically what I have here is what Lethal Performance calls the steak and potatoes with a side of MVH. It comes with these lower control arms, that pan hard bar, these lower control arm relocation brackets, this upper control arm with mount. I added the anti-sway bar or anti-roll bar. This is the bolt-on version, and I bought it from a company that I'm choosing not to do business with anymore. So I'm not even going to mention them, but this all came from Lethal Performance. I also added these solid bushings for the Viking rear shocks. These came from Kelltrac. It's pretty solid upgrade, especially for the money. And up next, I have the Strange Pro Series 2 rear brakes. Very excited about this. It's always great whenever you have lightweight and high performance, especially in the NA game. So without further ado, I'm going to get busy. The first thing I have to do is I have to take these rear brakes off on both sides. I'm not even going to bring the camera over to the other side because I could barely fit it over there. Yeah, this has got to come off. This was all done 3 years ago whenever I first started the channel. It was yeah, the Power Stop Z24 kit or whatever. Yeah, it's barely been used. I know, it's pretty bad. Alright, first order of business is get this caliper off. It's nothing new, 13 millimeter. Alright, I'm going to put these bolts back in that slide. And then we're going to take a look at everything here. Keep everything together. Somebody wants all this stuff. For what? I don't know. But that's none of my business. So that's what you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with all that. And quite frankly, that's okay. Because the Strange kit deletes the ABS just like it did on the front. And it deletes the parking brake. So that's kind of a downfall if you care. I don't really. But you know, I got to get that cable through the lower control arm, and that's all going. So, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to explain what you got to do here, but you can kind of see you got a clip there, and that right there needs to go around that bracket once you loosen all this up. It's very kind of common sense. Doesn't take a genius to figure it all out. But for now, I'll just get the caliper bracket, the pads, and the rotor out of the way. 15 millimeter on that caliper bracket. Got two of them bolts. All right, and here we are. Everything is off down here. Man, this camera looks so nice. As many of you may or may not know, I have 35 spline axles with a full spoil and C-clip eliminators from Strange. Shout out to Strange. I mean, you're basically on all aspects of the car here now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flathead. I'm going to pry this clip off right here, and then I'm going to pull this cable down through the bracket, and hopefully it'll give me enough. I'm almost positive it'll give me enough slack to pull that off. If not, I'll have to compress this some more and pull that off first. But for now, I think that I can do it that way. But I'm going to do it carefully. Yeah, because, I mean, you know, you can tell by my hands that I do everything carefully. Yep, came off with no problems. So now I'll just push that through there. So whenever I take the lower control arm off, they're not hindering us in any way. I guess just go ahead and pull some low-hanging fruit here. We take this ABS wire off, and well, let me figure out how to do it first. Take this off, and then it unbolts right there. It's a 10 millimeter, and it slides right on out. Let me figure that out. All right, whenever you get to this point right here, where you have the caliper completely off and all that other crap taken off. I could take it off right here, but I'm not going to be able to use this rubber brake hose for the new strange caliper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect it here. I believe it's a 13. Let me see here. Yep, 13. Once I break that loose and get it disconnected, take that little 10mm bolt out and the caliper will be gone. All that is off, and that's what we're left with. Now I can get busy with the suspension parts. But while I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and address this stupid fender well. I don't even really see the point in it. Pulling it out, weight reduction, race car, whatever. Alright, there that is. Much better. Lost about half a pound. Alright, so as I lay under here and ponder for a second, I said to myself, I said, self, why don't we try to make life easier on us? You already have to do the bushing in the rear. You already have to do the mount. All of this is in the way. You got to get these over the axle pipes out. That one's still up there. I tried to pull that one out, but a poorly placed jack stand is preventing me from pulling it out. And the rear really just needs a fresh coat of paint. I mean, I've rebuilt this rear five or six times. You know, standard life. And I gotta cut this out, this spare tire well. So why don't I just pull the rear? Just drop it all the way down. I mean, yeah, I got my work cut out for myself, but I still don't have to and I have to drop the dry shaft to put the fuel cell in because I got to pull that fuel tank out. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'm pulling the rear. But the first order of business is pulling that sway bar out of the way because that's just in the way and worthless. I've already taken off the panhard bar. One of the homies at Andrews Air Force Base needed it. So, yeah, man. I also have to take these lower control arms off because I have them sold. These are the billet BMRs. Very nice control arms, but no adjustability. And I need to get away from polyurethane bushings with this being a manual car. All right, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the shock. It's 18mm. And I'm actually going to take this shock all the way off, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. So now you come in here and you see I have these sway bar relocation brackets, and really you only need to undo the bottom bolt. But now that the shock is out of the way, you can actually get to it a lot easier. You can get to it without the shock, with the shock on, but I already had to remove it, so there's that. And you're just going to repeat this process on both sides. You guys probably aren't doing what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm acting like this is an instruction, a manual, but yep, basically I'm just taking off that sway bar relocation bracket, see if anybody wants them. Next is the lower control arm. You got that bolt right there, and that bolt right there. Lower control arm is out, or control arms I should say. I got both of them. They're sitting over there awaiting their new home. I got to crawl underneath here. I got to take the dry shaft out so I can pop the whole rear out. It's supported by the jack. Then we'll go from there. I'll get back with you whenever I drop that down. Alright, I got all the dry shaft bolts out. I didn't drop the dry shaft because, quite honestly, it is being a B word and I don't have time to fight with it. I'm really not in the mood to fight with it, so I'll cross that river when I get to it. So now what I'm going to do is, well, if you could see, it's so dark under here. See if I can turn a light on. Alright, there's a little bit better. So all I'm going to do is take this out and get the rear out of the way before I mess with any of this other stuff, because I still got to get these over the axle pipes out of the way. Got to get the fuel tank out of the way. That's all for another video. But anyway, yeah, let me do that. That's a 21 millimeter. All right, the rear end is out of the car, and what I plan on doing is you know, cleaning it up and giving it a paint job. Got to get that bushing out of there. Maybe take care of some, cut off some parts that don't need to be cut off, don't need to be there anymore. Just, you know, give it all around good cleaning. I got this solid unit that's going to replace that bushing right there, because we all know how bad those deflect right there. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip you guys off. Now, as you guys can see up there, there is the upper control arm and the mount. I'm just going to take that mount out. I'm going to take this mount off. It is that bolt, and there's one underneath the rear seat, well, where the rear seat used to be. I have a fuel cell, so I'm going to be taking this fuel tank off. It's that one. And where's it at? Oh, I've done lost the strap. It's up here. Right there. Same thing. On that side, that's got to go. I'm going to do all this stuff off camera. There's some wiring and things for the fuel tank and the evap system that's got to go. Yeah, e-brake lines, fuel lines, all that's got to go. I'm going to do all that off camera. There's really not really much sense in, you know, you guys watching me do that. But I am going to do all that. I got to get this over the axle pipe off. And then cut this spare tire well out. Basically what I'm going to do is follow the frame rail on the inside. And then come up here. And this is where the rear bumper is, but what I'm going to do is cut this off down here. That way you don't see it, because we won't be running tailpipes. This is the Vikings that came off of the car. They're not that old. Well, years-wise they are, but mileage-wise and usage-wise they aren't. But my plan is to send these to Kelly over at Kelltrac. That way I can have a fresh revalved. I'm going to let him do all his magic on them. And I can put them on the shelf for next season or the season after that. And a friend and a subscriber, Byron Saxton, sent me these. I'm going to be putting these on the car. These are new. They were test fitted and not used. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the bearing or bushing upgrade to these. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. One of the first steps is you got to get these one of the snap rings off. Now you're going to need snap ring pliers for the installation, but I'm just going to let you know these are on there pretty good. So I chose the violent way. I pried up one of the tabs. And I'm just going to pry it the rest of the way off, hopefully without stabbing myself, or just grab a pair of dikes and rip it the rest of the way off. Because like I said, they're on there pretty tight. Alright, after that thing put up a fight, on the side that you pried it off of, you're going to take an extension, one that you don't mind hurting. You might not hurt it. Then you're going to take a hammer, and you are going to beat the metal part out of the rubber bushing. Now you're going to find once you get to this point, the battle is pretty much over with that. You just kind of push it on through, and then you're going to get a razor blade and you're going to cut the rubber bushing out. As you can see, I got the razor blade. This is a fresh blade, so it cuts right through it, but I got it started. And you guys got to forgive me. I just wanted to experiment with this phone. This is the S22 Ultra. I just really wanted to try it because it has really good camera, or cameras, I should say. It's got 5 of them. But I got to do it. Oops. I got to do this with both hands. So you get the point, right? We're just going to cut that side off and push it right through. All right, see, I got it to that point. Now what you can do is just grab the rest of that with some pliers and pull it right on out. All right, see, we took everything out, and the shock itself is unharmed. All that other stuff that we pulled out is done for, toast. But now real quick, those those markings right there, those are the parts that are gonna be the biggest pain in the butt here, because that's where the new snap rings go. And I'll basically explain this to you as we go. Let me grab the new Kelltrac bearing upgrade. All right, essentially what you have here is a bushing, and these right here, this little end piece, that's actually a spacer. So this is that's the main part, and then you got your two snap rings. So now I'm going to show you where the snap rings go. All right, so what I'm going to opt to do is I'm going to compress this and actually just get it in that slot, and then we'll assemble the rest, and I'll show you what I mean. But I got to use both hands and them snap ring pliers right there. All right, you see I got that snap ring in there, and it is not quite in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this socket. It's just grab one that fits down in there. That's a 19 millimeter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the back side and seat it in place. Now it's in place. I heard it snap. Now what you're going to do, see if I can do this here. See, there's the other one right there. There's the spacer. Set this down in there. And now for the fighter, you are going to have to fight with that snap ring to get it in place. Not terrible, but it is a little bit of a chore sometimes. And that was not bad at all. It really literally snapped right in place as soon as I put it in with the snap ring pliers. Those are some janky ones that I got from Harbor Freight. You can actually change the tips. They have like 90-degree tips and stuff like that. But yeah, I got it right in there, man. Can't really complain. So basically what these spacers do is they just slide right in here, and you'll have one on each side, obviously, and that's just to make up for the space so it mounts. That fills up that void. Yep, it's a very solid, no pun intended, upgrade from Kelltrac. Thank you, Kelly, for making such a cool little design. But I'll be sending them to him, and he'll do his work his magic, and hopefully we'll get this turd, this filthy turd, you know, running somewhere in the low 10s. This just to give you a visual of what I was talking about with them spacers. You know, it just fills up that void. There's the shock mount on the rear. See, I'm happy I pulled this rear, that way I can show you guys some of these examples. Well, that's going to do it for this video, killers. I mean, I'm not going to keep on trying to make these 20-30 minute videos and I'm not do so well. You know, I understand. Sometimes I can't even watch a half-hour TV show, let alone a YouTube video. So, stay tuned. I'm just going to keep on. I'm going to try to put these videos out this week. That way we have like 3 or 4 videos of the rear upgrades. The things I'm going to do off the camera, like I said before, I'm going to cut the spare tire well out, take the fuel tank out, take all the e-brake lines off. All that stuff is going to be gone. I don't really find it that interesting. We'll weigh it all. That way we have an accurate reading on the weight reduction that we've done. But stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.